What is up, everyone? JD here. Hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm going to be bringing you my full review of the Strider .75 AR. What I'll be doing today is going over the specifications for the knife. I will go ahead and do some size comparisons to give you an idea just how big or small the knife is. And then I'll go ahead and jump into my thoughts and impressions for this knife. So let's go ahead and jump into specifications. The 75 AR has a 3.25 inch S35 VN blade, 4.75 inch titanium handles, overall length 8 inches, claimed weight 7 ounces. I was a little surprised by that 7 ounce claim, so I'm really anxious to check that out with y'all today. Doesn't feel like 7 ounces. It is definitely 7 ounces. That is surprising, and I guess because, and I'll get into that, I think it's because of how it's balanced that it doesn't feel like that. But let me go ahead and get some size comparisons done, and then we'll jump into that. First up, we're going to bring out the Demko AD 20.5, and then we'll bring out the Spyderco Shaman. And the Shaman's a pretty big knife in itself, so you should be able to tell just how girthy the .75 is. Really girthy knife. All right, let's go ahead and move these out of the way. And then we'll go ahead and grab two more comparison knives to help you. This is going to be the Bug Out and the K320 by Hogue. And that one's a pretty decent girthy knife, and you can see the AR definitely much more of a girthier knife. Let me move these out of the way, and we'll do a couple of budget comparisons in case you have budget knives. Here is the Pyrite by CJRB, kind of similar to the Bug Out. And then we have the Conspirator by Civivi. And I know the angle's a little bit bad. Let me drop it down a little bit more and bring these down some. I think that'll help. Probably should have done that with the other ones. My apologies. I forgot I was recording a different type of video earlier, so I don't know if that helps you a little bit with that Conspirator, because that actually does have a pretty girthy blade. All right, let's do, actually, I'm going to leave this one down here. We're going to do the bigger knives for the profile comparison. So we'll run through the profile so you can see how thin or thick the knife is. Here it is against the, I'm sliding a little bit. There we go. The Conspirator. Man, that's pretty close. I think that I'm just going to leave it at that. That's close. Here it is against the K320. K320 actually is more girthy at the head of the knife, but at the butt it's going to be more thin, and that's because it is like that vase shape. Here it is against the Shaman, and just a tad thicker, not too much. So hopefully that helped you from a size reference. Let's go ahead and jump into the knife. So again, surprised at that 7 ounce claim, because that is pretty heavy. And I think that's because I'm trying to find the balance. Balance is actually right here behind that choil. So when you're holding it up here, the bulk of the weight is back here in the hand. You have less weight up front, and I think that's where the deception happens. It feels like it's just lighter than what it is. Titanium frag handle done in a very neutral position. Even though it is tall, it is nicely chamfered down around the edges. Even where the pineapple frag ends, it's not really too sharp, and it's not coming to the hand. And then it's really comfortable on this side as well. You have a nice little lanyard here spot if you want to put a lanyard on it. I believe this pocket clip, if I recall correctly, is titanium. Yeah, and the hardware is titanium. The pivot is not. Yep, all the hardware is titanium. I was trying to see if those stop pins were, but those are steel too. So nice setup here. If you're into any type of anodizing, you have a lot to work with here. I did check with Dave because I thought that this was the model that was actually manufactured by Medford, but he did confirm that this model, to his knowledge as well, is also manufactured by Medford. At lock bar access, being that it is a full-size knife. You have good lock bar access. It's not knocked down, but you can get in here pretty good. My only complaint about this lock bar is it is a little sharp when you come in with the thumb. It feels good with the finger, but when you're coming in from here, you can feel a little bit of that chamfer that's right there, just a little sharp getting in there. It is really smooth considering that this is on washers. I think part of that is because the weight of the blade is heavy enough to get it to kind of fall past where normally on a smaller knife or a lighter blade it's not going to fall quite so nicely. Stop pins lock up right on the frame, really tight lock up, no side to side play. Definitely feels like, I mean, it's smaller, but it definitely feels like a pocket tank, like a miniature bruiser. Like this thing feels like it's ready to go to work for you. And I really do like the frag pattern. I like the way that this one was done because it's really bright in the actual grooves, and then it's really faded and washed down on the flat part. So it's got good contrast on it. Nice solid lock bar there. Let me see, where is the flashlight? You can see has a, where is that lock bar? There it is. You can see the line there. It's a really interesting, it's like an angled lock bar, it looks like. Trying to show you that detemp ball. It's way up in there. Let me see. I am on the lowest setting and it still feels like it's super duper bright. Let's see, maybe I might have to, maybe if I can zoom in, you'll be able to see it's right there. So that far down, way down in there. I think this is carbonized titanium. So it's directly, the titanium frame lock is directly engaging with the steel of the blade. The jimping is really far back. I think they do that so that if you are working with the middle of the blade with your thumb here, you still have plenty of cutting surface. This has a lot of belly, so if you're doing push cuts, you don't have much of a flat space before you start to slide out of the cut. But I really don't think it's going to be a problem because this has so much handle on it, it's going to be easy to control. The tip does drop down nice, so your utility and draw cuts are not super uncomfortable. You do have to get up a little bit, but it's not awful. I like the thumb hole on this. It's nice and sharp without like cutting off dead skin sharp. So you can get both thumb flicks and reverse flicks off with no issue whatsoever. Great action. I love the grind lines. Nice hollow grind. It's really quite thin behind the edge. I think I might have some paper around here. Didn't do too much cutting with this one because it's not my knife, but yeah, nice slicey edge. Hollow grind on there goes about a little bit more than halfway up the blade, a little bit more than halfway. And it's a deep hollow grind. Like it comes right up to the steel here before you start to feel it ramp up. So this thing definitely is slicey behind the edge. Nice stone wash on here too. I like the way that stone wash looks. And again, I really like the grind lines, nice and even. Came with a nice edge as well. I haven't had this for a long time, but the amount of time that I've had with it, I've really enjoyed this. It is definitely more Chris Reeve-like action than it is any of your ceramic bearing knives, anything that you might see from like a Riyadh or whatnot. Overall, it's a cool knife. It's more EDC friendly than I would have thought because they did a nice job keeping it pretty thin. It's no bigger than the Shaman as far as the thickness. And then even when you compare it to the Shaman, it's really not that much different. It just has more presence, right? It has more girth going to it, so really not that bad at all. Cool little knife. I'm really glad that Dave sent this over. I'm not going to make too many alternative recommendations. I feel like if you're looking at this, there's not too much else that you're going to look at in place of this. So it is definitely solid build. Only complaint also is going to be if that hardware is proprietary. I don't know if you're going to be able to use any type of screwdriver to get that off, or I forget what the bit type is, but it looks like two little prongs on the outside that you drop in there. I think I actually have one of those from when I had my Medford. So it looks kind of like that. I don't know if the T14 is the same size for this. No, it's definitely smaller. But I'm thinking it's that style a bit. Is it a spanner? I want to say it's a spanner. Damn, man, getting old sucks. Anyway, that is the type of bit that goes in there. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's review of the Strider 0.75 AR, leave a like. If you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along. Thank you again, Dave, for sending this over. I appreciate you sending this, brother. I enjoyed having some time to spend with this and the stovepipe. They will be headed back your way shortly with a little bit of a surprise for you to check out as well. Don't forget to turn on your notifications if you do decide to subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.